Galactic Council's alarm as humans abandon all diplomacy HFY. For the first time, an envoy from Earth had arrived in the council chambers, not to negotiate, not to explain, and not to ask for anything. They had simply stood silent for hours before leaving without a single word. The silence hung in the air, heavier than any threat or demand the council had ever faced. Species from across the galaxy whispered among themselves, uncertain what this could mean. On Earth, President Alan Brooks walked along the observation deck of the Orbital Command Center, his eyes scanning the distant stars. Beside him, Ethan Cole, head of space defense, and Lisa Morrow, director of strategic planning, were already deep in discussion. The human envoy's actions had left them uneasy. Diplomacy had always been humanity's first choice, but now it was clear the Council had ignored human warnings for decades. The attacks on colonies, the secret deals with pirate factions, and the disregard for human safety had finally pushed them to a limit. "They are waiting for us to make the first move," Ethan said quietly. "And when we do, they will have prepared for everything." Alan nodded. He had already received reports from intelligence that human fleets across the system were mobilizing quietly. No one outside Earth knew the full extent of what had been prepared. Hidden shipyards, deep space defense arrays, and advanced weapon prototypes had been built over decades. Now every piece was moving into position. "We cannot appear weak," Lisa said. "The Council has always assumed we would bend. This time we will not." Alan turned and looked at the planet below. The oceans glistened under the morning sun, cities stretched across continents, and humans went about their daily lives, unaware of the silent preparations above their heads. Or perhaps they were aware and trusted their leaders to act. Either way, the calm on Earth was more dangerous than panic. Humans had always been underestimated by other species. Time and again, they had survived conflicts where superior forces thought they had an easy victory. Now, the galaxy would see why. In the council chambers, species argued over what to do next. Ambassador Kilvek from the Drath species pounded his clawed hand on the table. "They refuse to talk. What kind of species does this? It is dangerous. It is reckless. We must act immediately." "Patience," said Amira Selen, a human-friendly observer from the Fenari system. "Do not mistake silence for weakness. Humans are patient. They do not act without purpose." Kilvek hissed. "Patience. They insulted every council member. They left without a word." "What more proof do you need?" "You see it as insult," Amira replied calmly. "I see it as strategy. Humans have a long memory. They do not forget how they are treated. And now they are saying something far more powerful than words." The Council sent repeated messages to Earth, all unanswered. Panic began to ripple through the chamber. Species that had grown used to exploiting humans were suddenly realizing that humans might not respond to fear, threats, or diplomacy at all. Their silence became a message louder than any speech. Humanity had made a decision. Back on Earth, Captain Ryan Parker stood aboard the Deep Space Command ship Horizon. His crew moved efficiently, checking navigation systems, weapons, and communications. The ship's sensors were set to detect even the smallest anomaly in nearby space. Ryan glanced at his second-in-command, Officer Claire Watson. "Everything is ready," Claire said, her fingers flying over the controls. "The fleet is in position. No one will see us coming unless we want them to." "Good," Ryan replied. He looked out the window at the blackness of space. "The galaxy thinks we will beg or negotiate. They think we are just another species to be ignored or bullied. They will be wrong." On the Orbital Command Center, Alan Brooks addressed his advisors. "We are not here to attack without reason," he said. "Our goal is to protect humanity and show the galaxy that we will not be treated as second-class citizens. Everything we do will be precise. Everything we do will have purpose." Ethan Cole added, "The Council has already underestimated us. That is their biggest mistake." "They always underestimate us," Lisa said. From pirates to council fleets, humans survive where others fail. Now they will see what happens when patience runs out. As the hours passed, human systems quietly came online. Hidden defense satellites activated, shipyards revealed their hidden bays, and colonies across the system prepared for potential conflict. Every human leader understood their role, yet there was no panic. Unlike alien species that often acted with fear or greed, humans acted with calm efficiency. In the outer asteroid belt, engineer Claire Watson oversaw the final activation of a secret shipyard. Massive warships that had been hidden within the rocks slowly powered up. Their weapons systems hummed quietly, shields glimmered faintly, and crews readied for orders. These ships had been designed to be both powerful and discreet. When the galaxy realized their existence, it would be too late for them to act without consequence. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, Amira Selen warned others again. Do not assume humans act emotionally. They are not predictable in the way you expect. They plan and they wait, and when they move, it is decisive. Ambassador Kovek scoffed. They cannot intimidate us with silence. Perhaps not, Amira replied, but they can make you fear the unknown, and that is just as dangerous. On Earth, President Alan Brooks stood before a large star map showing the galaxy, pinpointing council systems, human colonies, and neutral territories. Beside him were generals, captains, and scientists. Each point on the map represented not only a location but decades of preparation. Every fleet, every station, every hidden weapon must be ready, Alan said. We will not strike first, but we will not wait to be destroyed either. We have been patient for too long. Ethan Cole nodded. The Council will not understand why we are quiet. They will think it is weakness. They are wrong. Silence is our strength. Across the galaxy, smaller alien systems noticed unusual movements. Scouts reported massing fleets near human borders, but humans sent no messages, no threats, and no warnings. The lack of communication confused them. Alien commanders expected a call for peace, a negotiation, or at least a warning. Instead, they faced nothing but calm, unyielding preparation. "What is humanity planning?" whispered one young alien officer. His commander shrugged. "I do not know, but the fact that they are so organized, it is frightening." In the orbital command center, Alan Brooks turned to his inner circle. "Remember, we are doing this to protect life, not to conquer or destroy. But if the galaxy forces our hand, they will see why humans are not to be underestimated." As the day ended, the human fleet rested, planets prepared, and the council grew anxious. The silence of humans, their refusal to negotiate, and their careful movements sent a message that the galaxy could not ignore. For the first time, species that had always acted as masters of negotiation and intimidation realized they might be powerless before humanity's patience and determination. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as humans completed their quiet preparations. One by one, hidden fleets powered up, satellites aligned, and command centers confirmed readiness. Humanity had chosen a path where diplomacy no longer mattered. The Council had ignored their warnings, and now the galaxy would learn the cost of that mistake. Alan Brooks looked up at the stars one last time before retiring for the evening. He knew that what humans were about to do would change the galaxy forever. He did not feel fear. He did not feel doubt. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also the quiet pride of a species that had survived every challenge. The silence of humans, more powerful than any speech, had spoken louder than any warning. The first part of humanity's new stance had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. The galaxy noticed the changes quickly. Human space, once open and friendly, had closed its borders. Trade routes were sealed, and alien ambassadors were evacuated quietly, without confrontation. Ships from other species approached human systems, only to find that all docking bays were empty, communication channels blocked, and orbital defenses fully active. The Council had expected humans to plead, to negotiate, or at least to respond. Instead, humans had abandoned all diplomacy. The silence of Earth and its fleets caused unease that spread like wildfire across the stars. On Earth, Captain Ryan Parker oversaw the positioning of the human fleet. Massive ships glided silently through space, aligning into formations designed for defense but capable of striking with precision if needed. Ryan walked among his crew, offering calm words encouraging focus. No one panicked. Humans did not panic. "All systems report ready," said Officer Claire Watson. Her voice was steady. She had trained for years for this moment, and now the preparations she had overseen were complete. Hidden ships powered up in asteroid belts, orbital defenses activated, and communication networks were encrypted and secure. "Good," Ryan replied. "We remain calm. The galaxy thinks we are weak because we wait. Patience is our advantage." On the Council side, panic began to grow. Ambassador Kovec slammed his clawed hands on the table. "They have shut every route. They refuse to answer our messages. It is madness. How can a species survive without cooperation?" Amira Selen tried to calm him. "Humans do not need to cooperate to survive. They have always found ways to overcome impossible odds. They plan, they prepare, and they act when the moment is right." Kovec hissed. "They refuse diplomacy and now they refuse trade. What do you call that? Madness." "I call it strategy," Amira said, "and the galaxy is only beginning to understand it." Back on Earth, President Alan Brooks gathered his closest advisors. Generals, scientists, and commanders stood around a large star map, their faces serious. Alan traced human colonies with his finger. Each colony had its own fleet, defenses, and hidden resources. Humans were ready, not for war out of anger but for protection. "Every human system must remain secure," Alan said. "We do not strike first, but if anyone crosses our borders, they will see the full strength of humanity." Ethan Cole nodded. "We have allowed the Council and other species to underestimate us for too long. That is changing now." Lisa Morrow added, "Our fleets are positioned, our defenses are online, and our colonies are ready. The galaxy will learn that patience is not weakness." In the outer reaches of human space, scout ships detected alien movements near the edges of human-controlled systems. Fleets from minor species approached cautiously, hoping for trade or a message. They found nothing. Human sensors tracked their movements, noting every ship, every maneuver. Captain Ryan Parker ordered no attack. Humans waited. "They expect fear," Ryan said to his crew. "Let them find only calm. Let them understand that humans are patient but not weak." On one human colony, engineer Claire Watson inspected a massive hidden shipyard. Warships that had been concealed for decades were now fully operational. Weapons systems were tested, engines aligned, and crews drilled endlessly. Every detail had been accounted for. Humans had prepared not to conquer, but to defend themselves if the galaxy forced their hand. "It is almost time," Claire said quietly. She had spent years building these ships, training crews, and preparing systems. Now, the fleet was ready to move at a moment's notice. "And when we do move," Ryan said, "the galaxy will realize patience has limits." Back in the Council chambers, debates grew louder. Some species wanted to act immediately. They saw human silence as insult, as a challenge, as a threat. Others feared the unknown. Humans had never shown weakness, but now they refused all communication, and the calm efficiency of their movements caused fear that few had expected. "We cannot wait any longer," Kovec said. "Humans will expand their power if we do not act." "Stop," Amira Selen warned. "They are not expanding, they are protecting. But the galaxy interprets silence as aggression. Be careful. Underestimating them has always been a mistake. This time it could be fatal." Meanwhile, in the depths of human space, fleets began moving along hidden routes. They avoided sensors of major species, traveling through asteroid belts, dark nebulae, and other unseen paths. Human ships were quiet, coordinated, and invisible until they chose to reveal themselves. On Earth, President Alan Brooks met with fleet commanders. "Our goal is not war," he said. "Our goal is to protect humanity and ensure the galaxy understands that humans will no longer be ignored." Admiral Nathan Ross, commanding one of the largest human fleets, replied, "We will strike only if necessary. But if anyone attacks our colonies, they will see the strength humans have built in silence." Back on the Council worlds, tension grew. Minor species began requesting protection, fearing human power. Some began sending envoys with gifts, hoping for favor. Humans did not respond. They waited. Their silence was more powerful than any threat, more frightening than any fleet. On one small council planet, a young alien officer whispered to his superior, "How can a species survive so long without negotiation, without alliances?" His commander looked at him gravely. "They are patient, they are organized, and when they move, it will not be out of fear or greed. It will be decisive. The galaxy has never faced this kind of patience." On Earth, Alan Brooks walked along the observation deck late at night. He looked at the distant stars, imagining fleets in motion, colonies secured, and human defenses aligned. He knew the Council believed they were panicking, but in truth, humans were calm. Humanity had survived countless threats before. The galaxy assumed this time would be different, but they were wrong. "We will not beg," he said softly to Ethan Cole and Lisa Morrow. "We will not plead. We will act only when necessary. The Council has ignored us for decades. They have underestimated us. That ends now." Ethan nodded. "They think silence is weakness. Soon they will see it as power." Claire Watson, inspecting one final warship, smiled quietly. "They have no idea how ready we are. When we move, they will see a species they cannot ignore." As human fleets continued to position themselves across the system, alien species grew uneasy. Reports of strange formations, ships appearing where none should be, and sudden defensive readiness spread across Council systems. The silence of humans became the most disturbing thing the galaxy had ever encountered. Even minor species that had never fought humans before began to reconsider their assumptions. They had always treated humans as negotiable, as expendable, or as manageable. Now they realized that humans had become unpredictable in a way that few could understand. They were organized, patient, and fully prepared to act if provoked. The Council debated endlessly, but no solution emerged. Threats were issued, but humans did not respond. Negotiations were proposed, but humans did not reply. The galaxy was learning, slowly, that diplomacy could no longer control humanity. The species that had once seen humans as weak now feared the quiet, precise, and unwavering stance of a people who would protect themselves above all else. On Earth, Alan Brooks watched the night sky, reflecting on what humanity had become. Patient, disciplined, and prepared. The galaxy expected them to beg, to negotiate, to make mistakes. Instead, humans had waited, silently preparing a defense so strong that no one would dare test it lightly. The calm on Earth, the readiness of fleets, and the precision of hidden shipyards sent a single, clear message. Humanity would no longer be ignored, and diplomacy had ended. The first steps of this new stance were complete. Human systems were secure, fleets were in position, and colonies were prepared. The galaxy had noticed, and panic had begun to spread. The silence of humans was more powerful than any speech. The patient species of Earth had chosen its moment, and the Council was left to wonder when and how that moment would arrive. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and for the first time, humans were no longer to be underestimated. The first signs of human action were subtle, almost invisible. Alien species noticed strange reports from remote regions of space. Fleets that were once considered minor had suddenly vanished, and pirate alliances that had attacked human trade routes were destroyed with precise strikes. Humans did not announce themselves. There were no speeches, no warnings, no demands. The attacks were clean, quick, and limited to military targets. Civilians were unharmed. Commander Jason Hill, leading one of the strike teams, looked over the reports with his officers. "These systems are fully neutral," he said. "No innocent lives were touched. Our purpose is clear. Stop the threats, but do not provoke the galaxy unnecessarily." Lieutenant Maria Reed nodded. "The Council will notice this. They will see that humans act decisively but not recklessly. It will confuse them." On Earth, President Alan Brooks received reports from Jason and other commanders. Each strike had been calculated, each fleet movement precise. Humans had shown restraint, but the effect was terrifying. The pirate alliances, secretly supported by some council members, were gone in days. Alien media could not hide their shock. Broadcasts across council species described the attacks as swift and perfect. They could not understand how a species that refused diplomacy could be so controlled. "They are not acting out of anger," Dr. Laura King, chief strategist, explained to Alan and Ethan Cole. "Humans act from calculation. They have waited prepared, and now they are executing their plans with precision. The galaxy has never seen this combination of patience and efficiency." "They always surprise us," Alan said quietly. "It is why humans survive." Across council worlds, panic began to spread. Species that had relied on human negotiation for centuries realized that humans were not begging, not compromising, and not asking for permission. The quiet strikes against pirates were a warning that humans would act when necessary, and the scale of their preparation suggested even greater capabilities. Ambassador Kilvec called an emergency council session. "They have destroyed our puppets. They strike without warning, and yet no civilians are harmed. How can we counter such precision?" Amira Selen spoke calmly, as she often did. "Do not underestimate them. They do not attack for revenge. They attack to stop threats. But the galaxy will interpret it as aggression, and fear will spread. Humans do not panic. They prepare, they act, and they wait for the right moment." Back on Earth, Captain Ryan Parker directed his fleets to maintain positions near key systems. His ships moved silently, using hidden paths through asteroid fields and nebulae. The human presence was almost undetectable. Yet every council fleet, every pirate ship, and every small alien colony knew that humans were watching. "They think we will panic when they come near," Ryan said to his officers. "Let them watch. Patience is our advantage. We do not strike unless necessary." Engineer Claire Watson inspected the results of the attacks. Ships she had designed, long hidden in asteroid belts, had performed perfectly. Weapons had fired accurately, defenses had protected crews, and fleets had coordinated without error. The humans had acted with precision, and the galaxy was beginning to realize that humans were no ordinary species. "It is amazing," Claire said quietly. "We have waited so long for this moment, and now everything is proving itself." On one remote council planet, reports arrived of pirate bases destroyed overnight. Governors of minor species were terrified. They had expected humans to beg, to negotiate, or to avoid confrontation. Instead, they found themselves under the control of a species that could strike anywhere at any time with perfect coordination. Whispers spread. "The humans are not weak. The humans are not predictable. The humans are dangerous." President Alan Brooks held a meeting with fleet commanders. "The first demonstrations have begun," he said. "We are not here to conquer, but to protect ourselves and stop threats. The galaxy will see that humans act with purpose, not emotion." Admiral Nathan Ross, standing nearby, nodded. "The Council and their allies will be confused. They will not know if we will strike again or wait, and that uncertainty is our power." Back in the council chambers, Ambassador Kilvec raged. "They destroy pirates, they refuse communication, and they do not attack civilians. How can a species be so dangerous without showing anger?" Amira Selen sighed. "Because they think differently. They calculate, they plan, and they act decisively. Anger is unnecessary. Humans understand that weakness comes from emotion, not from waiting. On Earth, Jason Hill reported the final assessment of the initial strikes. Pirate fleets were destroyed, Council allies involved in illegal support had been weakened, and human losses were zero. Civilians were unharmed. Every movement had been measured. Every target had been precise. Humans had made a statement without words. We will no longer accept exploitation or threats. Ethan Cole looked at the reports. The Council will feel the weight of our patience. They will see the result of their ignoring us. They do not yet understand the full scale of our capability. Lisa Morrow added, and when they do, it will be too late for them to act without consequence. Patience is not weakness. Precision is power. The galaxy was filled with confusion. Broadcasts from Council species could not hide their fear. Commanders whispered that humans were not only patient, but organized and disciplined beyond what anyone expected. Analysts debated how humans could strike with such accuracy without suffering losses. No one had an answer. On one small colony, a young alien pilot asked his instructor, "Why do they not attack with anger? Why do they not speak to warn us?" His instructor shook his head. Humans are patient, they act with purpose, and the moment they choose, their actions will be decisive. Do not underestimate them. That is the lesson we are learning too late. Back on Earth, Alan Brooks watched the reports of the strikes and smiled quietly. The galaxy assumed humans were emotional, reactive, and negotiable. They had been wrong. Humans acted deliberately. They struck only where necessary. And now the galaxy was beginning to understand that diplomacy had ended. Patience had run out. Preparation had reached its peak. Captain Ryan Parker reported that fleets remained hidden, ready for any escalation. "They think the demonstration is all we have," he said. "They do not know what humans have prepared beyond this. When the time comes, they will see the full scale of our readiness." Engineer Claire Watson inspected the damaged pirate fleets. "We have proven capability without waste. The galaxy will notice. It will change how species think of humans." Amira Selen continued to warn the Council. "Do not misread this as aggression. Humans are not angry. They are organized. They will protect what is theirs. Their patience is long and their reach is longer. The Council must understand that or face consequences." Even minor species began to take note. Trade ships altered routes to avoid human systems. Colonies requested protection from Council forces, fearing that the humans could strike again. Whispers of fear and respect spread across the galaxy. Humans had abandoned diplomacy, but in doing so, they had gained power no speech or treaty could give. On Earth, President Alan Brooks gathered fleet leaders once more. "We have made our first demonstration," he said. "The galaxy knows we are capable. They know patience is not weakness. Now we wait. We wait because we must protect humanity and all who stand with us. We wait because when we act next, it will be decisive." Admiral Nathan Ross added, "And they will not see it coming until it is too late. Humans have waited long enough. They will continue to wait, but now the galaxy knows our patience is not empty." Commander Jason Hill and Lieutenant Maria Reed discussed their next assignments quietly. "The first strikes have made the message clear," Jason said. "Humans are not weak. We do not beg. We do not compromise when it comes to survival. The galaxy will learn this slowly, and that is our advantage." "And when they learn," Maria replied, "they will fear us, not because we are angry, but because we are prepared." The galaxy, once confident in its power over humans, began to reconsider. The Council had underestimated the patience, discipline, and precision of Earth's people. Pirates were gone. Council allies had suffered losses. Minor species were wary. The demonstration had been clear. Humans no longer relied on diplomacy to protect themselves. The first steps toward a new balance in the galaxy had begun, and humans waited, silent and ready. for the next moment that would define their place among the stars. Alan Brooks looked out at the stars, thinking of fleets in motion, hidden shipyards, and the quiet strength of a people who had waited for this moment for decades. He knew the galaxy assumed humans were reactive, emotional, and negotiable. They were wrong. Humans had shown restraint, precision, and intelligence. The first demonstration had ended. The second phase, the one that would truly alter the galaxy, had yet to begin. But the message was clear. Humanity would no longer beg, negotiate, or tolerate exploitation. They would act when necessary, and their patience had made them more powerful than anyone realized. The Galactic Council was in chaos. The first human demonstrations had already shocked the galaxy, but now panic spread through its chambers. Species that had long assumed control over human negotiations were confused and afraid. The silence, the precision, and the restraint of humans had created uncertainty that no species had ever faced before. Some called for immediate retaliation, while others urged caution. The council had no agreement, only fear and doubt. Ambassador Kovec pounded his claws on the table. They are patient, precise, and unyielding. They refuse to speak. What kind of species does not negotiate, does not beg, and yet strikes with such power? Amira Selen raised her voice above the chaos. Humans are not reckless. They do not act out of anger or pride. They act out of necessity. They have waited for this moment for decades. The Council has ignored warnings for too long. Now they are ready, and they will not back down. Kovec hissed. We cannot allow them to continue. We must act now. If we hesitate, they will expand their power, and we will have no choice but to surrender. Surrender is not the only option, Amira said firmly. Humans do not demand surrender. They demand respect and safety. If you provoke them, you will face consequences far greater than you can imagine. On Earth, President Alan Brooks met with his top commanders. The calm in the room contrasted with the fear spreading across the galaxy. The Council will react, he said. Some will panic, some will call for war. We must remain ready and disciplined. Every fleet, every colony, every hidden shipyard must be prepared. The galaxy is watching, and our silence is more powerful than words. Admiral Nathan Ross nodded. Our fleets are ready. They do not know the full extent of our preparations. When the time comes, they will see that patience has its own power. Captain Ryan Parker oversaw the positioning of human fleets near Council core systems. Ships moved silently through hidden corridors in space, avoiding detection. They formed defensive formations that could strike quickly if attacked, but they did not attack first. Humans had decided that their message would be made through presence, not aggression. They think fear will make us act rashly, Ryan said to his officers, but we will remain calm, we will wait, and when necessary, we will act decisively. Engineer Claire Watson checked the status of the hidden shipyards. Massive warships were fully operational. Defensive satellites were in place around colonies. Crews had drilled endlessly for every possible scenario. Humans were not only ready to defend themselves, they were ready to demonstrate that the galaxy could no longer ignore them. Every system is secure, Claire reported. They will not see our full strength until we choose to show it. On Council worlds, debates became heated. Smaller species pleaded for protection. They had seen the strikes against pirates and Council allies and feared what humans might do next. Some species began forming small alliances, hoping to survive, while others withdrew completely from contact with human space. Uncertainty and fear spread faster than any fleet could travel. We cannot fight them, whispered one young alien officer to his superior. They do not attack, and yet we feel trapped. How can a species be so controlled and dangerous without even speaking? His commander looked at him gravely. They are patient, they are precise, and when the time comes, they will act with purpose. Fear of the unknown is more powerful than weapons, and humans understand that better than anyone. Back on Earth, President Alan Brooks spoke to his cabinet. We have done nothing but protect our systems and neutralize immediate threats. The Council has seen our power, yet they do not understand it. We will not beg, we will not negotiate. If they attack, they will see the full strength of humanity. Ethan Cole added, "We have prepared for this moment for decades. Patience has been our ally." They think we hesitate out of fear, but they do not understand discipline. Humans wait, and when necessary, they strike decisively. Lisa Morrow nodded. "Our colonies are ready. Fleets are hidden but in position. The galaxy is panicking, but we are calm. That calm is our advantage." Near the outer edges of human space, reconnaissance fleets observed Council fleets gathering. They did not engage. They reported every movement, every formation, every fleet commander's pattern. Humans were watching without revealing themselves, sending a message without speaking. "They think we are hiding," Captain Ryan Parker said to his officers. "But we are ready. We do not act until we must. And when we do, the galaxy will understand why patience is not weakness." On one remote colony, engineer Claire Watson oversaw final preparations. Shields were reinforced, weapons tested, and crews drilled tirelessly. Every detail had been accounted for. Humans had waited long enough, and now their readiness created uncertainty that spread across the galaxy. "They fear us because they do not know us," Claire said quietly. "That fear is more powerful than any fleet." In the council chambers, some species began to recognize the lesson too late. Patience and preparation had given humans power that no negotiation could match. They did not attack recklessly. They did not demand tribute. They acted with precision. And their silence was louder than any speech. Amira Selen warned, "Humans are not acting out of anger. They are protecting themselves. Their patience is long, their reach is extensive, and their ability to act decisively is unmatched." The Council must understand this or face consequences. On Earth, President Alan Brooks walked along the observation deck, thinking of fleets in motion, hidden shipyards, and the calm discipline of humans across the system. He knew the Council assumed humans were reactive and emotional. They were wrong. Humans had waited, prepared, and now they were ready. The Council would realize this only when humanity chose to show its full strength. Admiral Nathan Ross addressed his fleet. "We remain calm, we remain ready. The Council believes we hesitate out of fear. They are wrong. Our discipline, patience, and preparation are our weapons. When necessary, we will act decisively. They will regret underestimating us." Captain Ryan Parker and Lieutenant Maria Reed reviewed fleet positions near Council borders. "They will not attack unless forced," Ryan said. "But if they do, we will respond with precision. Humans never act recklessly. Our power lies in our patience." "And they will not see everything we have," Maria added. "Our strength is more than they imagine. Patience has always been our advantage." In the galaxy, the Council grew desperate. Threats were issued to humans. Fleets were deployed to human borders. Attempts were made to provoke responses. Yet humans remained calm, disciplined, and hidden. Every move was watched and noted. The galaxy realized, slowly and painfully, that diplomacy had ended and that humans no longer feared the Council. On one distant planet, a young alien officer whispered to his superior, "They do not speak, they do not attack, yet we fear them more than any enemy we have faced." His commander nodded. "Because they are patient. They act with purpose. And when they choose to strike, it will be decisive. Humans do not rush, they wait, and that makes them stronger than anything we know." Back on Earth, Alan Brooks addressed his commanders once more. "The Council is panicking. Some species want war, some want protection. Humans are calm, our fleets are ready, our colonies are prepared. We do not beg, we do not negotiate. The galaxy will learn that patience and preparation are the true strength of humanity." Ethan Cole said, "They think we wait out of fear. They are wrong. Patience has always been our ally. Discipline is our weapon. The galaxy will see that humans are not weak." Lisa Morrow added, "Every fleet, every hidden shipyard, every trained crew is ready. The Council does not understand our restraint. They will learn, but only if they test us. In the council chambers, whispers of fear and respect spread. Humans had abandoned diplomacy, but in doing so, they had created power that no speech or treaty could give. Species that had assumed control over negotiations were beginning to understand that humans would not beg, not negotiate, and would protect themselves decisively if provoked. On Earth, President Alan Brooks looked out at the stars, thinking of fleets in motion and hidden warships waiting quietly. The galaxy had assumed humans would plead, negotiate, or beg. They had been wrong. Humans had chosen patience, discipline, and precision. The first demonstrations had shown their capability. Now the galaxy would see the full weight of their resolve. Humans were no longer diplomats. They were guardians of their own survival, and the Council had learned too late that silence, patience, and preparation were more powerful than any fleet or threat. The galaxy was tense. The Council had watched humans move with precision, patience, and calm restraint. Fleets had been positioned, pirates eliminated, and threats neutralized. Yet humans had not attacked recklessly. They had sent no words, no speeches, no demands. The Council and every species across the stars understood one truth. Humanity had abandoned diplomacy, but they had not abandoned control or strategy. Now, the final stage was about to begin. On Earth, President Alan Brooks gathered his closest advisors in the Orbital Command Center. The room was filled with fleet commanders, strategists, and scientists. They stood around the star map, showing human colonies, fleets, and the position of Council systems. Alan spoke clearly, his voice steady. "We have waited," he said. "We have demonstrated our strength. We have defended ourselves and neutralized immediate threats. The Council now understands that diplomacy no longer applies. We will send one final message, not a request, not a plea, but a statement. Humanity protects itself, its colonies, and any who stand with it. Those who exploit or attack others will be removed. The galaxy must know this clearly." Admiral Nathan Ross nodded. "Our fleets are in position. Our colonies are prepared. The Council believes we are patient. They are correct, but our patience is not weakness. It is strategy. When the message is delivered, they will understand the full scope of our capability." Captain Ryan Parker oversaw the deployment of human fleets near key Council systems. Ships moved silently, forming precise formations designed for visibility but not aggression. They did not attack. They waited, letting their presence communicate the power of humanity. "Every commander must remain calm," Ryan said. "Our strength is discipline, our message is clarity. We do not beg, we do not negotiate. We act with purpose and we protect our own." Engineer Claire Watson inspected a hidden fleet in the outer asteroid belt. Massive warships, designed decades ago, now glimmered in the shadows of space. Their weapons systems were ready. Their crews had drilled endlessly. Humans had chosen not to strike recklessly. They had chosen to show that their patience, discipline, and readiness were more powerful than any threat the Council could imagine. "They will see only what we choose to show," Claire said quietly. "Our restraint is our power. Our calm is their fear." On Council worlds, confusion and fear spread. Some species had formed temporary alliances for protection. Others withdrew completely from human borders. The first strikes had proven humans were precise. The positioning of fleets and hidden defenses showed humans could strike anywhere, yet they did not. Silence and presence alone had altered the balance of power. Ambassador Kilvec, frustrated and fearful, demanded action. "They have stripped us of influence. They do not speak. They do not attack. How can a species be this dangerous?" Amira Selen responded, her voice steady as always. "They are not acting out of anger. Humans act from preparation, patience, and purpose. They are not reckless. They will protect what is theirs and any who stand with them. The Council must respect this, or face consequences." Back on Earth, President Alan Brooks activated the communications network across human space. A simple, clear message was prepared, a final statement of humanity's stance. Fleets in orbit and hidden colonies relayed the message simultaneously to Council systems and allied species. The message was short, direct, and firm. Alan turned to Ethan Cole and Lisa Morrow. This is not negotiation. This is clarity. The galaxy will understand that humanity protects itself and any who are with it. Those who exploit, attack, or threaten will be removed. Nothing more, nothing less. Ethan nodded. We have waited, prepared, and now the message will reach every corner. Our patience has given us power. They will learn, finally, that humans are not weak. Lisa added, our fleets, our hidden systems, and our colonies all convey the same message. The Council cannot ignore it. Minor species cannot ignore it. The galaxy must see the full truth of humanity's resolve. In space, human fleets aligned into formations near Council borders. The ships were visible, impressive in size and number, but they did not fire. Their mere presence communicated the strength of humanity. Reconnaissance reported Council fleets observing cautiously, unsure how to respond. No one wanted to provoke a species that had abandoned negotiation, yet demonstrated such control and precision. Captain Ryan Parker looked over his fleet. They see our strength, but they do not understand the full scale. We wait, we act only if necessary. Our patience is our power. The Council assumes we are reactive. They are wrong. Humans are deliberate and precise. Lieutenant Maria Reed nodded. And that is what frightens them most. Our calm, our restraint, our discipline. They have never seen anything like this. They will learn that humans are not to be underestimated. On Earth, engineer Claire Watson oversaw the final testing of hidden defense satellites and warships. Every system functioned perfectly. Humans were ready for any eventuality, though their goal remained clear, to show strength without unnecessary aggression. We are ready, Claire said. The galaxy will see our patience and they will respect it. That is our message. Strength without recklessness. Back in the Council chambers, debate continued. Some species demanded retaliation. Others advised surrender or alliance. But the humans had already acted. They had protected themselves, neutralized threats, and sent their message clearly. Diplomacy had ended, patience had its limit, and humanity would no longer be ignored. Amira Selan observed quietly. The Council does not yet realize that humans have already won the moral high ground. They do not seek conquest. They do not seek revenge. They simply protect themselves and any who stand with them. The galaxy must respect that or face consequences. Minor species began sending emissaries to human systems. They sought alliance, protection, or simply understanding. Humans received them, but their stance remained firm: protection, discipline, and readiness. No begging, no negotiation, no compromise beyond fairness. President Alan Brooks watched the stars from the orbital command center. The galaxy assumed humans were reactive and emotional. They were wrong. Humans had demonstrated restraint, precision, and patience. They had neutralized threats, positioned fleets, and prepared colonies without panic. The message had been sent. The galaxy could not ignore it. Admiral Nathan Ross addressed his fleet. Humans have abandoned diplomacy, yes, but not prudence. We do not strike unless attacked. We do not beg. We do not negotiate when respect is ignored. The galaxy sees our calm, our discipline, our readiness. That is power, and it is unmatched. Captain Ryan Parker and Lieutenant Maria Reed reviewed the positions of hidden fleets and reconnaissance reports. We have made our statement, Ryan said. The Council knows our patience is not weakness. Now we wait. If they test us, they will see why humans are precise, patient, and decisive. And when they see that, Maria said, they will understand that humans are no longer diplomats. We are guardians of our own survival and of anyone who stands with us. On distant colonies, civilians watched fleets moving across space, unseen but detected by sensors. Humans had prepared, but they had not struck. The calm efficiency of their operations reassured some and frightened others. The message was clear. Humans acted with purpose, and their patience made them more powerful than anyone could imagine. In the council chambers, fear spread. Species that had long assumed control over human negotiation realized that humans no longer depended on diplomacy. Patience, preparation, and precision had shifted the balance of power. The Council's authority was questioned, alliances were reconsidered, and the galaxy began to respect a species it had underestimated for centuries. On Earth, President Alan Brooks addressed his commanders one final time. The message has been sent. The galaxy knows we protect ourselves and any who stand with us. Those who exploit, attack, or threaten will be removed. Fleets are in position. Colonies are secure. We wait, calm and ready. The galaxy has learned that humanity does not negotiate under threat. Diplomacy is no longer our tool. Our patience is our power, and our power is undeniable. Ethan Cole added, "They now know that humans are deliberate, disciplined, and ready for anything. Fear spreads faster than fleets, and that fear is our advantage." The galaxy respects power when it is clear, calm, and precise. Lisa Morrow nodded. "We have shown restraint, precision, and patience. The Council and every species now understands that humans are not to be underestimated. They will think twice before exploiting or threatening anyone again." In space, human fleets held positions near key systems. Hidden fleets maintained readiness. Reconnaissance monitored every Council movement. Humans had abandoned diplomacy, but they had gained respect and power beyond any treaty. The galaxy had learned the lesson. Patience, preparation, and precision were more powerful than words, speeches, or threats. As night fell on Earth, Alan Brooks stood at the observation deck, watching the stars. Fleets moved silently in orbit, colonies were prepared, and human systems were secure. The Council had been shocked, the galaxy had been warned, and humans had delivered their final message without a single word of aggression. The era had changed. Humanity was no longer a negotiator, no longer a species to be underestimated. Humans had abandoned diplomacy, yes, but in doing so, they had established a new galactic order. Those who exploited others were removed, those who respected strength were protected, and humanity stood ready to defend itself and its allies. Alan Brooks smiled quietly. The galaxy had learned what humans had always known. Patience is not weakness. Preparation is power. Discipline is strength. And a species that waits, plans, and acts with precision cannot be ignored. Humanity had crossed a line that could never be undone, and the stars themselves seemed to acknowledge that a new balance had begun, with humans at its center, calm, ready, and unyielding. The galaxy would never forget the day humans abandoned diplomacy and claimed their place among the stars.